Always. I'm always ready. Today, on this exciting episode,
Are you sure?
absolutely, of
Okay.
Canadians versus,
Thailand.
yeah, for the elderly. We're going to talk about family.
Mm-hmm.
We are family. Yay, yay, yay. Anyways, let's talk about the differences for elderlies in Canada versus Thailand from your perspective and my
Okay.
perspective. Do you want to go first?
Okay.
Okay. So tell me a bit about for the elderly how they're treated
Mm-hmm.
with the ties.
So is right now we have more small family, which is like mom, dad, and little kid
Yep.
in the house. That's mean when the children grow up, they start to have their own family.
Right.
They separate
Okay.
their family.
So they families
Like
here,
us.
yeah, like us. Okay.
But back in the time and still now, some family they stay together
Right. Some families.
as a big
unit, yeah. Big
family,
unit, yeah.
right?
Okay.
Having grandparents, parents, and
Kids,
children,
and maybe great grandkids or
in
whatever.
the
Yeah.
same house.
Okay.
Right? And another way of looking, because in Thailand, the developing area is like in the city, like Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Phuket. So the worker, like adult life who's working,
Mm-hmm.
they move to the city to work, to making
Okay.
money, and they leave the parents or grandparents
Oh.
generation at their
old home.
hometown.
Okay, I gotcha.
Right?
I gotcha.
So they stay home, like working some small thing that can give them the money, but not a
Friend.
lot.
Yep.
And they bring back the children to the hometown for the grandparents to take care of.
Okay.
So as a parents generation, like our generation,
Right.
they just come to fight to work in the city, and the children and the old people
Stay together.
stay in the countryside.
Oh, that's different than us, yeah, for sure. That's
Something
different.
like that.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Mm.
And I guess in Canada, some similarity would be like you said, sometimes they live together. I think that is a thing, but I think that was a thing like maybe 25, 30 years ago where that was more of a thing. I'd say now it's not as much. It is more separated.
Yeah.
So, like, not that we don't love our grandparents and our
Yeah.
older parents and this and that, but I think now over the last 15 years or so, maybe it's more talked about that the parents have their own place and they live there, and because they've had the opportunity. Talk about financials. They've had the opportunity to buy their house, and the kids are trying to, like my age, they've had a home, so they're working on theirs. So the parents have their house, and then we would have our house, so to speak. So I think that is a little bit similar but different at the same time. Like, yeah, we would probably move to a bigger city and try to find jobs there, like in Toronto or Bangkok in this example.
Yeah.
Maybe Vancouver, Montreal. Like a lot of people, especially in Montreal, like I do have friends out in Montreal, their parents live out in Quebec. You know what I mean? Montreal is Quebec, but Quebec is pretty much different, right? And so
Yeah.
they would live in Quebec type thing. So that is a thing. In regards to taking care of the elderly, I don't think they do it as much now. And I think the next generation, like for our kids type thing, they will be living with us again because it's very hard for kids this day and age or young adults to afford a home. So they will live with the parents and then we'll take care of us type thing. So when we turn 60, 65, we'll all be living together, sort of like here type thing, like moving back in. So it's a little different in that regard.
And for over here, when like our parents' generation, they're really, really old, they might have to stick in their bed all the time.
Yeah.
Now it depends on the family. some families send them to the home care because they
Yeah.
have the professional uh,
Right. Yeah.
care over there,
We
right?
have it
And
too.
our generation, we have to work and have no time to
Take
take
care.
care of
Yep.
them. But some family take care of them in the house because of the financial aspect
Yeah,
or
and they're okay and they can take care of
whatever.
it. I think that's different in Canada. That's very
Yeah.
interesting. Like when I look at Canada, I do have like my stepmother's side, her aunties or like her grandparents. They were really rich. They were really well off, and they chose to go into home care to
Mm,
be taken care of, pampered, so to speak. And
mm,
like before, they would do those bus trips and transport. They would do all those types of things too, which I found very interesting. Like I know for my dad and my mom both worry about it. Like who,
mm,
if they get sick, who's going to take care of them, right? And
mm.
that is a concern. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the youngers, right? The youngins, so to speak, right? Like, what do we do? Do they move
Mm,
back with us, or
mm,
do we put them in a home? Not to get rid of them, like
mm.
it's something they want sometimes, right? I think middle class, upper middle class would maybe think about having an option. But I guess like middle class or poverty, you just move back in with your kids. Unfortunately, you know what I mean. I don't know if that's a thing in Canada, as I'm sure it is a thing, but like I personally don't know that. But I do believe it's probably a thing where parents
And
have to move back in with their kids. You know,
and over here, it's the way they taught us. Like the kids
to
has
take
to
care.
take care of the parents in
That's
whatever way. It's like the thankfulness action,
that's different. Like culturally,
but
we wouldn't do
they
that
quite force us in the
in their minds. Yeah,
mindset that
it's sort of
you
ingrained in
have
your head. Yeah,
to take care
right.
of us in return, something like
Like
that.
we
It's
raise
like
you. It's like
Asian idea, I
yeah,
think. Yeah.
it's almost like a cultural thing because I don't think
Mm,
I I don't think I know it's not a thing in Canada. I know it's
mm,
probably not a thing in America too, where it's they do it because they're either forced to
mm,
or out of obligation. Like the same thing here, but I
yeah,
think that's a really small percentage
yeah.
where
And for me, I'm different
yeah,
because my dad never say something like that to
right,
me at all, and he never asked anything from me at
right.
all. Yeah.
And all I ever did was ask for stuff from my dad and my mom and my stepmom, and they gave it to me eventually. And now I feel obligated to take care of them if they get ill. No, just kidding. But like, yeah, if it came down to it, of course
Mm,
we would take care of them, right?
mm,
And vice versa for
yeah.
your family, right? And I just think culturally it is different in that regard, and it's a very interesting thing, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, that's a little differences between Canada and Thailand on
Family thing.
family.